So I'm going to discuss our topic is all about key synthesis of biodiversity conservation. So biodiversity conservation is the process of protecting and managing all forms of life, including species, ecosystems, and genetic diversity to prevent extinction and maintain ecological balance. So this is important because nature provides us with food, water, and livelihood. If biodiversity is lost, these systems will also collapse. So no biodiversity, no life support systems for human. So we use two main approaches, which is in situ and ex situ conservation. So in situ is the natural protection. Protect species in natural habitat. So like for example, forest protection and wildlife reserves. So for ex situ, which is backup protection, is protect species outside their habitat. Like for example, seed banks and botanical gardens. So these two approaches work together. One protects life in nature, the others ensures if something goes wrong. For the habitat provisions, foundation of life, habitat provisions ensures that organisms have food, shelter, and space to reproduce. So, the more complex the habitat, which is trees, crops, and grasses, the more species it can support. Like for example, agroforestry farms support more life than monocropping. So, good habitat creates life. Poor habitats destroys it.
Topics are all about species richness. Species richness refers to the number of different species found in a particular area. It is one of the main indicators used to measure biodiversity and the overall health of an ecosystem. When an ecosystem has high species richness, it is usually more stable and resilient. This means it can better withstand environmental changes. As climate shifts or natural disturbances, however, it is not only about the number of species. We also need to consider their roles, abundance, and distribution, because each species contributes differently to ecosystem balance. In short, higher species richness lead to stronger and more sustainable ecosystem. Now let's move on to new slide, which is about pollinators. Pollinators include animals such as bees, butterflies, birds, and bats. These organisms are essential because they help in plant reproduction by transferring pollen from one flower to another. This process allows plants to produce fruits and seeds, which supports both plant diversity and food production. Pollinators also play a big role in maintaining ecosystem stability. Without them, many plants would not be able to reproduce properly. However, pollinators are highly vulnerable to threats like habitat loss, pollution, and climate change. That is, protecting pollinators is very important biodiversity conservation. For slide 6, I will discuss landscape connectivity. Landscape connectivity refers to how well different habitats are connected, allowing organisms to move freely from one place to another. This movement is important to finding food, mating, and maintaining healthy populations. It also supports genetic exchange, which is helps species adapt and survive over time. In areas where the habitats are fragmented, connectivity can be improved by creating corridors and buffer zones. These serve as pathways that link separate habitats. Overall, landscape connectivity is essential for maintaining biodiversity, especially in affected by human activities.
So, this case synthesis, it highlights how key components of biodiversity conservation, such as the habitat provision, the species richness, pollinators, and landscape connectivity are highly interconnected and collectively contribute to effective environmental management. So, to begin, we have the habitat provision, and it serves as the foundation of biodiversity. It creates the physical and ecological conditions that is necessary for species survival. And when habitats are well maintained and structurally diverse, they support a wider range of organisms, leading to increased species richness. As species richness increases, ecosystem functions are enhanced. One of the most important functions is pollination. A diverse community of pollinators improves plant reproduction, which in turn supports greater plant diversity and productivity. So this demonstrates that species richness does not only increase the number of organisms present, but also strengthens the ecological processes. However, these relationships are further reinforced by landscape connectivity, and connectivity allows a species to move between habitat patches, promoting gene flow, recolonization, and population stability. Without connectivity, even high-quality habitats may fail to sustain biodiversity because species become isolated and vulnerable to decline. So, for example, in agroforestry systems, farms that maintain diverse vegetation can support a wide range of pollinators. So, when these farms are also connected to nearby forest areas or ecological corridors, DAO, species can move freely, enhancing both biodiversity and agricultural productivity. So, sa ato pa, fragmented landscapes limits movement, reduce pollination efficiency, and weaken ecosystem resilience. From this case, so several important insights can be drawn. First, biodiversity conservation must be holistic and integrated. It should not focus solely on protecting individual species, but also on maintaining ecological interactions and processes. Then the second, this integrated approach is especially relevant in managed landscapes, such as agroforestry systems, where conservation and production goals must coexist. In conclusion, effective biodiversity conservation depends on the interaction of habitat provision, species richness, pollinators, and landscape connectivity. These components work together to support ecosystem resilience, stability, and productivity. Therefore, integrating these elements into conservation planning is essential for achieving sustainable environmental management. And that's all for today's discussion. Thank you for listening.